Every day, telescopes in different parts of the planet observe space in the hope of capturing a signal.
We truly don't know everything that goes on in space. I mean, how could we? Are there alternate dimensions out there? Life on other planets? Aliens? Who knows? Well, today we'll be looking at some terrifying signals from our universe that will freak you out even more. From sounds of eerie space music to objects that might have been sent by aliens. Let's talk about all this and more only in today's video. Top 10 terrifying signals from space that should have been kept a secret, part 3. Starting off this countdown, we have Jupiter's ionosphere. This eerie recording was recorded by NASA's Juno spacecraft in February of 2017. This is the sound of the plasma waves in Jupiter's ionosphere. And let me tell you, it's eerie. It starts off as just like a plain, almost static sound. Then it picks up and sounds like roars. Now that's not even that bad, I will admit. The freakiest part though is when it captured what sounded like someone moaning or groaning in pain. Listen carefully. It happened pretty fast, but you can hear like a sound. That same low grunt happened several other times throughout the recording, and they don't know what it's from. Obviously NASA is like, oh, it's just the natural sounds of Jupiter, but everyone else is like, aliens! In our 9th spot today we have the knocking sound. Back in 2003, astronaut Yang Liwi became China's first man in space. In 2016, Yang revealed during interviews how terrified he actually was up in space by himself. In fact, he told his creepy story of the unknown knocking sound he heard. So basically he claims that he heard, and I quote, someone knocking the body of the spaceship just as knocking an iron bucket with a wooden hammer. It neither came from outside nor inside the spaceship. He looked outside of the porthole but never saw anything tapping on the spaceship. Since his return to Earth, they still haven't figured out what caused this sound. They even tried to recreate the sound and scenario, but all attempts failed. The only theory is that it happened as a result of the expansion or contraction of the spaceship, or ghost aliens messing with us. In our 8th spot today we have the Roswell Rock. This is an object that is believed to have been from space. I mean, we get pieces of meteorites all the time, so this space rock shouldn't be unusual, right? Wrong. This rock is unusually smooth and uniform in color. It's just way too perfect. On top of it, the rock has a design protruding from the surface of it. Now, it was given the name the Roswell Rock because it was found in Roswell, New Mexico, which has had its fair share in alien UFO sightings. So it might have been left by some ETs or something. Upon analyzing the rock, researchers have realized that the rock's design actually matches a crop circle that was found in England in 1996, which makes this whole thing that much weirder. Some are convinced that this rock is some message sent by aliens. Not only that, but the rock has some weird magnetic properties to it. It's unlike anything they have ever seen before. Linda Moulton, along with other researchers, believe that it's some message sent from aliens or someone or something in space. As for what it means, one theory is that the rock contains a date for some event that has or will happen. Moving on at number 7, we have Europa. Europa, otherwise known as Jupiter 2, is the smallest of the 4 moons orbiting Jupiter. Back in 2017, when the Galileo spacecraft flew by the moon, it picked up some weird signals. Kinda creepy and alien-like, not gonna lie. But wait until you hear the screams it picked up. Yes, you heard me correctly, it picked up something that sounds like screams. NASA claims it's just the sounds of the plasma waves interacting with Earth's magnetic fields that somehow created a strange whistling noise that sounds like an alien screaming. Or it could just be an alien screaming. Coming in at number 6, we have the Voyageur plasma sounds. that's one way to hurt your eardrums. This sound was recorded by Voyageur 2 as it passed by the outer magnetosphere in 1979. This is the sound created, and I quote, "at a special frequency in the plasma with a magnetic field. The frequency is set by the number of electrons in a given volume and the strength of the magnetic field." That's what NASA had to say about it. Now the last couple of seconds sound almost like birds singing in the morning. But as we all know, there are no birds in space. Unless, are there alien birds? We're now at our 5th and halfway mark with the Dropa Discs. Hands down, this object came from space and is a message sent by aliens. So in 1938, an archaeologist led an expedition near the Bayanhar Mountains in China. While there, they came across some ancient caves that had these weird discs buried in there. These discs were over 10,000 years old and resembled phonograph records. So they were like, wait a minute, what if it is a record and holds some kind of message? So then they were placed on this like special turntable, and the discs would vibrate / hum in a weird rhythm as if an electric charge was passing through them. To make things weirder, the discs had images carved into them. The drawings told a story about a spaceship that crashed into the mountains. Coincidence? I think not. So theory goes that these records contained some sort of message from aliens that we have yet to solve. Moving on to number 4, we have the Hubble. When I say that this is the scariest space recording I have ever listened to, this is the scariest space recording I have ever listened to. So that was recorded by the NASA Hubble Space Telescope. It's the sounds from the Helix Nebula, which is 655 light years away. Now space has no sounds, and clearly these audio recordings dispute that, but no, what they did is use sonification to figure out what it would sound like if it did produce sounds. And then this clip went viral on Twitter because it sounds like a scary woman screaming. At first, I thought it sounded like that damn ghost from Scooby-Doo. You know, hey!
Get out of here!
But then you hear that scream, and that's enough to send shivers down anyone's spine. Moving on to number 3, we have the unexplained music. So back in 1969, during the Apollo 10 space mission, the astronauts on board the shuttle claimed to have heard eerie music as they circled the moon. It happened when the astronauts were on the far side of the moon and lost radio and visual contact with mission control. They were alone for about an hour just traveling along listening to this spooky music, which today still hasn't been solved. The astronauts described it as unusual whistling noises or space music. In fact, the astronauts debated telling mission control about it. They feared they wouldn't believe them and that they wouldn't be taken seriously on future space missions. Although we don't have a concrete answer for what the sounds could be, theory goes that the noises were a result of radio interference, whereas others believe it was some sort of message from aliens. Or maybe it was aliens blasting their music, just having a party on one of the planets, and then we rudely interrupted them. Coming in at number 2, we have the Space Shuttle Columbia.
Just taking a few hits here. We're right up on top of the tail. Not too bad.
Max flight.
Flight Max.
And there's no commonality between all these tire pressure instrumentations and the hydraulic return instrumentations.
No, sir. That's
On February 1st, 2003, the Columbia Space Shuttle was destroyed upon re-entering Earth's atmosphere. All 7 individuals on board sadly lost their lives. The signals and messages they sent to mission control while this was happening was horrifying. NASA released the transcript as well as some of the final messages of the astronauts, and just hearing it is heartbreaking. Basically, mission control started noticing a bunch of things going wrong with the craft. The individuals on board tried to stay calm and think positively, but they just kept getting worse and worse news from mission control.
ACOM.
I've got 4 temperature sensors on the bottom line data that are off scale low.
Columbia out of communications at present with mission control. as it continues its course toward Florida?
I didn't expect this bad of a hit on comm.
The saddest part was towards the end of the recording, they keep sending messages to the space shuttle, but all they hear is silence. That's when entry flight director Leroy Kane says, "Lock the doors."
YGC, lock the doors. Copy.
This means nobody leaves mission control until everyone finishes their reports and written accounts of what they just witnessed. They knew that this was the end of the crew and the mission. And in our number 1 spot we have the Cassini Spacecraft. Back in 2004, the Cassini Spacecraft went into orbit around Saturn. It was on a mission to study Saturn's rings and moons, you name it. But while out there, it picked up some creepy emissions. They then altered the emissions so that they could be heard by the human ear, and what they captured is quite eerie. The sound was pretty much constant, like it gets louder at some points, but I'm sure you all heard that weird split second of a different noise. I have no clue what on earth that was, and maybe I don't ever want to even know. Alright guys, that's all for today's video. Let me know in the comments below which one of these space sounds you thought was the eeriest. And now, speaking of comments, let's move on to our comment shout out portion. I'll be shouting out comments from the video Top 10 Mysterious Inventions by Tesla That Were Never Built. Riverbanks commented, "Well, Lindsay's eyes take me to another universe." Get it? I put it in here because we're talking about planets and space, so there you go. Are they out of this world? Sorry, we'll keep. Thank you so much, Riverbanks. Miguel Reyes commented, "Where do you get your ideas for video topics? I've always wondered about that." It's me. I come up with everything. I'm a genius. Yeah. Perry Klingsick commented, "Q, what's brown and sticky?" Answer, a stick. I definitely was not thinking about a stick. I don't think any of us were. Good one. Good one, Perry. Perry the platypus. Okay. Alright guys, that's all the comments I'm shouting out for today's video. Make sure to comment something down below for a chance to be featured in my next comment shout out. And as always, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to Most Amazing Top 10 for more amazing videos. I've been your host, Lindsay Ivan, and I'll see you when I see ya.